Boys, the top 15 is a very exciting place for pretty much every weight division that we have so far in the UFC. But in today's video, we're going to be going over every single fighter who I think is going to break into the top 15 by this time next year. We're going to give them a full year to break into the top 15. We're going to go from the lightest weight class all the way up to the heaviest weight class. We're not going to really include the women's division because at the end of the day, does anyone watching even care? But shout out to Lucas for the video idea. If you guys want to see who I think is going to make it to the top 5 next year, let me know in the comments below. I'll make that video after this one. This I thought was going to be more fun, trying to see who I think is going to break into the top 15, something very hard to do in the UFC. Like I said, going from the lightest weight class all the way up to the heaviest weight class. So yeah, once again, shout out to Lucas for suggesting this video idea. If you want to see who I think is going to get into the top 5 next year, let me know in the comments below. And while you're at it, we're on the way to get to 500 subscribers, so don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on those post notifications so you never miss any of my newest videos. And with that being said, let's start off with the flyweight division. And I'm not gonna lie, flyweight and bantamweight, a little bit harder to pick who I think is going to get into that top 15 place. But right now, this fighter, 16-3, he's on a 2-fight first round submission spree. His last loss was against Muhammad Mokaev last year. Ever since then, he hasn't seen the second round. Every single one of his fights after that have been first round submissions. He is currently ranked number 18 in the division, and that person is Jafel Fiho. Now, like I said, 16-3, 2-fight winning streak. And yeah, it was really hard to find someone who I thought was going to make it into flyweight top 15 because it's very competitive at the moment. Again, currently only ranked number 18. His next fight is most likely going to be for a top 15 matchup, I would think so. Coming off 2 back-to-back first round submissions, I would think they're going to give him a boost up in competition into the top 15. If they don't, he's 1 fight away from getting a top 15 matchup. And yeah, some fights that I think he would do very good or have a good chance of winning in this division: David Dvorak, Tim Elliott, Matt Schnell. I don't know how these guys are still ranked in the top 15, I'm not gonna lie. As of recording this, David Dvorak is ranked number 15, Matt Schnell ranked number 11, Tim Elliott ranked number 10. I don't want to be surprised if Filio could go out and beat these guys, but let's keep moving on. Bantamweight division. This guy, 15 fights, 0 losses, currently ranked 21th in the division. He has an upcoming fight next week, June 8th, right after Makhachev fight. He's fighting number 36 ranked John Castaneda. After this fight, I wouldn't be surprised if they give him someone closer to the top 15, maybe like a ranked number 16, 17 type fighter. He's only had 2 fights in the UFC, and they were against Davy Grant and Simon Oliveira. And again, if he wins this John Castaneda fight, maybe 1 fight away from getting a top 15 matchup. This man is Daniel Marcos. I think he would do very well against people like Kyler Phillips, Pedro Munoz, Dominic Cruz. This one, I'm not gonna lie, this was the hardest division to find someone in that bantamweight division because like flyweight, bantamweight is just stacked right now. The top 15 is a crazy place. And yeah, right now, Pedro Munoz ranked number 15, Dominic Cruz ranked number 13. Honestly, they should just get rid of Dominic Cruz in the rankings. The last time he fought was a hot minute ago. Kyler Phillips ranked number 11. I think he would have some good success in this weight class, but I'm not gonna lie, it's a murder's row in the top 15. Even just like the top like 20 to 30. There's a lot of killers in bantamweight right now. So it's really hard to find someone that I think could make it into the top 15 because not gonna lie, breaking into the top 15, especially right now at bantamweight, has to be one of the harder things to do in the UFC. But let's keep moving over. Featherweight division. This guy, 17-3, currently ranked number 17 in the featherweight division. His next fight, he called it out against Dan Ige, who is ranked number 13th. It's on July 20th. So if he does get past Dan Ige on July 20th, he's going to be in the top 15 before 2024 is even over. And that person who I think he might be able to get it done over Dan Ige. The guy that I'm picking to be into the top 15 by this time next year is going to be Joanderson Brito. Joanderson Brito coming off that TKO win against Jack Shore back a few weeks ago in the second round. After that, he got a submission win over Jonathan Pierce, a KO win over Wesleyan Wilson. Keep going back, Lucas Alexander. He got a first round submission against Lucas Alexander. First round TKO KO win against Andre Philly. And right now his winning streak is currently at 5. Like I said, I think he might be able to get Dan Ige. That would bring him into 6 wins in a row, plus being at that top 15. Joanderson Brito, I think more likely than not, is going to get into that featherweight top 15 by the end of this year at least. Let's move over to lightweight. This one might be a little bit, I guess, controversial, but I could definitely see this one happening. I could see the UFC wanting to push this guy and get him into the rankings as soon as possible. Currently 13-1. He's only had 2 fights in the UFC, and that was against Elvis Brenner and Ursik Medic. Currently only ranked number 22 in the lightweight division. And like I said, 13-1. His only loss was back in the regional scene against this 11-0 Russian fighter, Khalid Satuvi, I believe is how you pronounce it. Probably not even close how you pronounce it actually, but regardless, there's a lot of different possibilities for more than just one person to break into the top 15. But in my opinion, Mayatebek Orolbai is who I want to see into the top 15. One of the fighters I want to see the most get into the higher level of the division to fight higher level competition. And not gonna lie, I could 100% see the UFC wanting to push this guy into the rankings. So yeah, this time next year, I wouldn't be surprised if Orolbai is even in like the top 10. Because let's not forget, lightweight right now, I feel like lightweight we're going to see a lot of retirements soon. Like Dustin Poirier coming to the end of his career. Max Holloway currently ranked number 9. I don't even know how much he wants to stay in this lightweight division. RDA ranked number 14 right now. Like I feel like a lot of these guys are going to drop, if not get out of the ranking soon, making it easier for other people to get into the top 15. But regardless, let's move over to the welterweight division. This one at middleweight might be one of the easier ones to predict. This guy 16-0, currently ranked number 19 in the welterweight division, 4 fights in the UFC, which include Jake Matthews, Max Griffin, Adam Fugit, and Trevin Giles. You know, some pretty good names on his resume so far. A lot of fighters that people know, at least the hardcore, maybe not the casuals as much, but every single one of his fights in the UFC have looked pretty dominant so far. Do I think he'll be a champion? No, but I can definitely 100% see him get into the top 15. And that guy is Michael Moraes. Again, I think he fares up very well to a lot of the top 15. Let me just run through some of the guys in the lower half of the top 15. Kevin Holland, number 15 right now, might be a little bit of a hard fight, depending on which Kevin Holland shows up. I think Vicente Luque would be a good fight for Morales. Vicente Luque is just not the same fighter anymore. Neil Magny, Joaquin Buckley, Jeff Neal, I think these are all fantastic matchups stylistically wise for Michael Morales, and again, wouldn't be surprised if we see him in the welterweight top 15 early next year, to be honest. Moving on to middleweight division, like it or not, this guy's getting into the top 15 next year. Maybe not right away, but we're like halfway through the year already, so halfway into 2025, I wouldn't be surprised if this man is ranked in that middleweight division. Currently ranked number 26. 6-0 in the UFC. He's only fought a few times. His last fight, Cody Brundage. This is Bo Nickel. Come on, guys. You can 100% see the UFC pushing this guy into the top 15 within maybe 2 more fights. He hasn't fought any real elite level middleweights so far, to be honest. He still needs some sort of test so we can gauge how good he's going to be. I was hoping they would do Bo Nickel versus someone like a GM3 on that Conor McGregor card so we can gauge how good Bo Nickel is to someone to GM3, a known gatekeeper in that middleweight division. And yeah, like I said, he's probably 1 to 2 more fights away from a top 15 opponent. I believe he's going to fight maybe 2 more times this year. And then after that, beginning of next year, early next year sometime, we can see him get his top 15 opponent. But yeah, to be honest, middleweight division there's a lot of favorable matchup for Bo Nickel in the top 15, because let's be realistic, middleweight isn't the most talented division in the UFC, and it's majority just stand-up fighters, so a lot of these matchups in the top 15 would be a very good stylistic matchup for Bo Nickel. Like, you're telling me right now that Bo Nickel wouldn't have a good shot against someone like a Paulo Costa, Marvin Vettori, even number 2 ranked Israel Adesanya? Like, first off, I might be overhyping this man way too much, because like I said, we need to see him tested in this division. We haven't had him tested at all. He's realistically, guys, he's fought Can so far. So let's see him against a GM3. That's the fight I want to see. Then we can gauge him from there, but more likely than not, this guy has hella Dana White privileges, so best believe Bo Nickel coming to the top 15 near you sometime next year. Let's move over to the light heavyweight division. This one, I think I might be the only one picking this guy to be ranked next year. I don't think anyone would ever pick this guy, but this guy, 10-0. His last fight and his first fight in the UFC was George Takos on UFC Fight Night, Barboza versus Murphy. first round submission. And again, same thing in light heavyweight division. There's not that many dominant submission threats at light heavyweight. Quickly, just to go over the light heavyweight division. If someone like Dominic Cruz, Alonzo Menifield can still be in the top 15, there is no reason why Omar Sy can't be in the top 15. I know this man literally just made his debut the last UFC fight card we just got, but you know, be active, be dominant. I might be trying to push this guy too much, but be active. Again, not that many dominant submission threats at light heavyweight. You could have an easy path to the top 15. Give him a year's time. I wouldn't be surprised if he's in the top 15. Again, the light heavyweight division especially, we might see a lot of people retiring. We don't know how long Alex Pereira has. Does he have another year left in him? Maybe. Jan Blachowicz just had surgery on both of his shoulders. Who knows if he'll ever be the same after that. We might see one more fight from Jan Blachowicz until he realizes, like, you know, my shoulders are cooked and there's no way I can compete at the highest level anymore. Volkan Oezdemir gain up in age. Anthony Smith gain up there in age. You know, there's a lot. Dominic Cruz, like I said, I have no idea how Dominic Cruz is still in the top 15. But yeah, there's definitely a way for Umar Sy to get into the top 15 if he plays his cards right and he doesn't get fraud checked. But we have one more weight class to go to. Heavyweight division. This guy currently undefeated at 9-0. His last fight was against Muhammad Usman, and you know, kind of the same thing with light heavyweight, but heavyweight is way worse. Heavyweight is just all sorts of messed up right now. It seems like heavyweight might be one of the easiest top 15s to get into. I mean, if you can have someone like Rodrigo Nascimento, Marcos Rodrigo de Lima on there, Alexander Romanov, all these just fat overweight heavyweights in the top 15, there's no reason why this guy can't make it. And I'm talking about Michelle Parkin. Again, 9-0. He hasn't been here for that long. Is he the most dominant fighter in the heavyweight division? Not really. Same thing with a lot of these heavyweights. He's a little bit fat, but not as fat as some of these other guys. He's currently scheduled to fight Lucas Brzezinski in UFC 304, the Manchester card. And yeah, he's been in the UFC for 3 fights now. He won his Dana White's Contender Series fight with a rear naked choke in the first round. Ever since then, it's been decision win after decision win after decision win. All unanimous, by the way. First win, Jamal Pogas, then Caio Machado, then Muhammad Usman just recently on March 23rd. But yeah, I can see him favoring up very well against those people I just mentioned. Alexander Romanov, ranked number 13. Marcos Rodrigo de Lima, ranked number 15. Rodrigo Nascimento, ranked number 15. I could even see, depending on how well he does in his next few fights, he could possibly even beat someone like a Tai Tuivasa, ranked number 11, or Marcin Tybura, ranked number 8. Although, I want to get Tai Tuivasa back on a winning streak. I want to feed him nothing but cans. Give Tai Tuivasa some more fun fights. You know, maybe don't give him Michelle Parkinson. That's just a whole other topic. Maybe I have to do an Operation Save Tai Tuivasa's career and matchmake him up with some good upcoming fights for him. And just matchmake him some good fights that he could potentially win if he takes shit seriously and not eat Taco Bell before going into one of his fights in the main event. But yeah, huge sidetrack right there. Regardless, these are the people who I think are gonna break into the top 15 next year. But yeah, let me know in the comments below, who do you guys want to see break into the top 15 by this time next year in any weight class, whichever one you prefer. Also, again, let me know, do you want to see who I think is going to break into the top 5 in every weight class? Let me know in the comments below. Leave a like on this video so I see you guys are enjoying it. If there's enough people wanting that video, best believe that video will come out maybe by the end of this week. But regardless, thank you guys so much for watching to the end of the video. Like I said previously, we're trying to get to 500 subscribers. So if you haven't yet, leave a like on this video and subscribe with those post notifications turned on so you never miss any of my newest videos. And yeah, there's really not that much else left to say except for I will see you guys in my next video.